Job well done, lad.
And welcome once again to As the Reel Turns, your place for all places, movies, and TV. I am Dan Soletti, and I am your host. But before we go anywhere, let's do our always entertaining entertainment update. Take it away.
This is Drive-In Dave Lounder for your entertainment update, coming to you from the Picture Show Movie Theater in Berlin, Connecticut. Today's update includes 2 new series and an upcoming film. Miracle Workers is back. TBS's anthology comedy series returns for a 4th season with an all-new setting. We've seen them go through heaven, the Dark Ages, and the Oregon Trail. This time it's a post-apocalyptic world with the subtitle of End Times. Among returning cast members are staples Daniel Radcliffe and Steve Buscemi. What does End Times mean? Could this be the final season or just the subtitle for the season? Watch for yourself Mondays at 10 p.m. on TBS. Court is back in session. Night Court, that is. After 30 years, the beloved NBC comedy is coming back to television. Being helmed in front of and behind the camera by Big Bang Theory's Melissa Rauch, this new Night Court will see Judge Stone's daughter becoming the new Criminal Court Part 2 judge of New York. Joining her will be the return of Dan Fielding, once again played by John Larroquette. Will any other original cast members return? There aren't too many, I'm afraid. See what the verdict is Tuesdays on NBC. And finally, summer has some big films coming. It's a Wonderful Life's George Bailey told us about Indy 5, and there is a new Guardians of the Galaxy coming too. But one long-awaited film is The Flash. After constant disagreements and on-set drama with star Ezra Miller, the film is finally going to be released this June. Taking a page out of Spider-Man No Way Home, the film will feature The Flash interacting with other dimensions. These dimensions will include cameos from Michael Keaton's Batman and the late, great Christopher Reeve's Superman. Calm down, Daniel. We know you're excited. Join in the excitement this June when The Flash debuts. This has been Drive-In Dave Lounder for your entertainment update, reminding you to support your local drive-in movie theater. And now, back to you in the studio, the man, the myth, the legend, Hollywood Daniel.
So we got a great story for you, a great show for you today, and it's all lined up. And you know what? I want to kick off this year with something we did a few years ago regarding William Shatner, which is a actor's spotlight. And today we're doing an actor's spotlight of the ever wonderful Christopher Lloyd. Yes, Christopher Lloyd, an actor who has been around for quite a long time and who has had a very extensive career, and we are so happy to honor him on this show today. And I've got some really cool guys to talk about it with. I've got some of my friends from Psychosis Entertainment. I've got my friends Zach White and Justice Furlot. Guys, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Oh, no.
Wow, that was quite an entrance there.
Yeah, we're doing something different.
I am excited.
Well, hey, I hope you guys are ready to talk about Christopher Lloyd.
It is
yeah.
Yes, it is. This is a guy who has had quite a career, like I mentioned, and he has done lots of other fun stuff and some stuff you may not even know that he was in. Ooh. So let's get kicking on it right now with something, like I said, did not know he was part of, which is a film from the 70s called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I knew that.
I did not know
the
he was
movie.
in this. So honestly, I haven't seen this film all the way through. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's making a fool of himself. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a famous film. What we're seeing is a trailer here from when it was reshown in film theaters
Through Turner Classic Movies.
through Turner Classic. And if you haven't seen the film, basically the premise of it is about Jack Nicholson's character being brought into this crazy mental hospital and meeting all these crazy patients. Some I did not know, like Danny DeVito and our Christopher Lloyd. So, Justice, we'll start with you. Since you have seen this, what is your thoughts on One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Christopher Lloyd's character and performance?
I think it's a great movie, to be honest. And while, yeah, obviously the main character is going to be Jack Nicholson, and as soon as you see Jack Nicholson, you're like, oh, he's going to steal the show. But especially if you've seen all these people and you know all these different actors, you're definitely going to recognize them because a lot of them have that kind of face that you just see and you just know it's them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for his performance, I thought he did pretty good.
Yeah, this is one of his big break movies. And Zach, well, Christopher Lloyd sounds like this, so he already sounds crazy. Do you think that having him in this was a good fit? Now, of course, it's called acting, but do you think he was a good fit for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
100%. Good actors always have a knack of being very fluid and being able to play any character whatsoever.
Yep.
But having a bunch of people who are instinctively hilarious and a little bit wild definitely makes the movie a good fit. Now, I haven't seen the movie, but I'm sure that's something that Justice and I will talk about later.
I think he's going to talk to me about it, too.
But, yeah,
you
100%.
I expected. You, I did not.
Well, it's just one of those that fell through the cracks. But, yeah, he
I
definitely
don't know
was a
who
good
you are.
fit.
Yeah.
You're my cousin.
That's right. Again,
Is that so?
they're related, folks.
You wouldn't think it.
But no, I think Lloyd did a very good job in this, and he, from that trailer, we can see he's just having a great time playing crazy. So,
It makes me feel very peculiar when you throw in something like that.
Why? What does that mean? Peculiar, Harding.
Peculiar.
Harding.
I better tell you guys something. You just don't want to learn anything.
Peculiar.
Been talking about your wife ever since I can remember. She's on your mind and blah, 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 and on and on and on.
Come on. I can be pushed just so far, see? Just touch me once more. Just once more, huh? Just once more. Just touch me once more.
Game, Harding.
Just touch me once more, you
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It is a classic, so definitely check it out. And if you're a Christopher Lloyd fan, you might be pleasantly surprised that, hey, he's in this movie. So who'd have thought? Not me. This was, like I said, one of his first big breaks, and one of the next chapters in his career was a television show. And this television show, I actually just finished watching all the way through. It's very good. And it is a complete difference from what he did in the Cuckoo's Nest. It's a little show called Taxi. Now, Taxi was an interesting show. It was a 5-season run show, and it had an ensemble cast starting here with Judd Hirsch, Then you would see Danny DeVito, Mary Lou Henner, John Conway, I think, is one of the people, and of course Andy Kaufman. But Christopher Lloyd, Jeff Conway. Christopher Lloyd has been in this show throughout the entirety. Yeah, there's DeVito. He started as a guest star in season 1 and then became a regular through the rest of the show. Tony Danza. He was the other one I was trying to think of. And
there he is, Christopher Lloyd.
Lloyd's character was a gentleman by the name of
Andy Kaufman.
Not by Andy Kaufman.
No, like Andy Kaufman's in this.
Yeah, Andy Kaufman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His character was named Reverend Jim Ignatowski, and Reverend Jim Ignatowski was anything but reverend. He was an ex-hippie and an ex-druggie, and this man was constantly on a different planet. He was spaced out all the time, and although he made a little bit of sense every so often, you'd think like, oh no, how can we get along with this guy, let alone get him behind the wheel of a cab in New York City. But it worked perfectly, I think, for him because, as we all know, Christopher Lloyd, the way he sounds, he could be totally spaced out and, yeah. And he developed a catchphrase throughout the show. He developed the catchphrase, "Okie doke."
Okie doke.
And he's like, didn't matter what was going on. It's like, Jim, can you get this fixed? Sure. Okie doke. And it just went on from there.
Sounds about right.
It was a lot of fun. I bet he had a great time doing that show. And so Zach, going from playing a crazy person in Cuckoo's Nest to playing a druggy hippie in a taxi in a show about a cab company. What do you think about that? Have you ever seen Taxi as well?
I have not seen Taxi.
Okay, I'm afraid.
I'm sure.
Please walk out of the studio.
I'm sorry.
No.
But I'm sure he did a good job playing his role. And as I said, great actors are very versatile.
Yeah.
And they can play many different roles and become faces that you see and go, oh, he's great. I gotta see him in this movie.
Yeah.
Or see him in this show or whatever it might be. So without having seen it, I'm sure he did a great job.
Yeah, it's definitely a must watch because a lot of people grew up watching Taxi, and that was one of their first introductions to Christopher Lloyd was Taxi. Kind of like when we did William Shatner's actor spotlight, a lot of people saw him as James T. Kirk. So even though he had done like Twilight Zone and stuff like before that, but Justice, Christopher Lloyd is super young in this. This is still pretty early in his career, and Taxi was on mid 70s to early 80s.
Yet he still looked like he was in his 50s.
Yes, that's true. With especially like this look going all the time. Oh. What do you think about having this type of character? Him playing this character on a show like this.
It's definitely a very 70s thing. That's probably the best way that I can think of it. Like, it's a very 70s thing that you'd expect in a show.
Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of works because you have, the guy who is a cab guy. You had Danny DeVito's character who was the boss of the cab company. The woman. That's all you needed to say was the woman of the cab. The guy who wanted to be a boxer. The guy who wanted to be an actor. And then you have the druggie in the form of Christopher Lloyd.
Had all the archetypes are hit right there.
What does a yellow light mean? Slow down. Okay. What? Yellow light mean? Slow down. Okay. What? did they put that in here?
Rio de Janeiro to here, do you know how far that is?
6,842 miles.
Well,
Look.
do you know what kind of mail system they must have?
The Brazilian mail system is government run with an annual budget of 27,485,000 pesetas.
How do you know these things?
You mean I'm right? I wasn't even sure if pesetas was the right money. Ooh, they got a nice little surprise inside.
What are you talking about?
Well, I could be wrong, but I detect something in here that's a lot more powerful than oatmeal.
What's in it? What's in it?
Well, let's check this out here. Coca leaves.
Coca leaves?
Uh-huh.
You mean the stuff that they make cocaine out of?
Yeah. Yeah, from South America. Peru, I believe. Southern Peru. 74 before the rains. Poignant, but not overbearing.
Are you telling me that Latka is selling cookies with drugs in them?
Is this only the second time that Danny DeVito and Christopher Lloyd have worked together?
As far as I know, yes, which made Cuckoo's Nest even more interesting because I didn't know the two had worked together in that first.
Yeah.
And then come Taxi, they're working together again.
Kind of wonder what else those two have worked together on.
It does make you wonder, yeah, but those Christopher Lloyd's Reverend Jim worked. I think everybody enjoyed his character, and he at times was even a show stealer. So he really worked really well. And, we saw where he was a college guy at first, but then got into drugs and then derailed from there.
Jimmy, everybody's doing marijuana. It's something I enjoy and I want to share with my boyfriend. Is that so terrible?
The best available research indicates that for some people it's habit forming and leads to harder drugs. And who knows, I could be one of those people.
You can't reject it until you try it.
Okay. I've done it. It's over with. I don't want to hear about it again. And let's just hope it's not habit forming.
Are you all right?
I'm fine. Now let's go study.
If you haven't watched Taxi, first of all, watch Taxi. It was a great show. I enjoyed it, and you're gonna love Reverend Jim because it's if one of the things that we're going to talk about isn't been parodied enough, Reverend Jim has as well. So definitely check it out. And it was a great other chapter for Christopher Lloyd, I think. So Taxi had ended early 80s, and exactly right after Taxi, the year after, Christopher Lloyd got a call for another movie. And this time he would be playing a villain, but not just any ordinary villain. And this was one of two introductions I think I had to Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd played a Klingon. And Christopher Lloyd played the villain Klingon in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. So here we go with a video trailer, I think it was, for Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. And you will see Christopher Lloyd in this trailer as the villain Klingon. I gotta tell you, Christopher Lloyd, again, with that voice, played this role so well. He played it so well. I think we're gonna... There he is!
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And, this is the thing, if I were to put a picture of this guy up here, you might say, I don't know if he looks like Christopher Lloyd, but then you get a close look. That is him under that makeup.
It's the eyes.
It's the eyes, for sure. But you got... And he does a lot of screaming in this, and you just have to imagine, Christopher Lloyd screaming, "Get out! Get out of there!" No, he's not Richard Nixon, but
he could probably play Richard Nixon.
He probably could.
Or voice him, at least.
And he's using Klingon words, he's like, "Bah, ah, ah," or something like that. And he does a great job, and it makes me laugh when I watch it, because I'm thinking like, wait a minute, this is the guy who was just stoned on TV last week, and now I'm going to the theaters, and now he's a Klingon warrior. It's called acting, folks. Mm-hmm. So, Justice, Christopher Lloyd, under Klingon makeup, screaming in English and Klingon, fighting Captain Kirk. Need I say more?
No, I don't really think so. I have not seen The Search for Spock, sadly.
We can fix that.
I have seen, obviously, you got to see Wrath of Khan. I've seen Wrath of Khan.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's meme-worthy material, let alone pretty much the best Star Trek movie to come out.
Anyway.
Well, it's the most memorable.
It is memorable, yes.
Yeah.
But no, and that's actually a good point. I mean, we'll go deeper into this when we will talk about Star Trek on this show. We can't do the show without that.
You haven't?
But not yet.
What is wrong with you?
I know. People ask me that all the time. Shatner we've gotten to, but the rest of Star Trek not yet. But it's a common misconception, I say, or rumor, theory, legend, where all the odd-numbered Star Trek movies are bad, all the even ones are good. Search for Spock is number 3, and it's good. And I think Lloyd brings a lot of the good into it, because you have a guy who had established a name for himself now. I mean, he was in Taxi, he was in Cuckoo's Nest, he did other stuff in between that, and
seems like someone who would probably do theater before doing like.
Yeah, I think he did do some theater. Yep, and so I think it just works. But Zach, I mean, do you think that you would, if you were the casting director and Nimoy himself, Spock himself, directed this film? So if you were Spock and sitting with the cast director, would you have picked Christopher Lloyd, saying like, "Oh yeah, I want Reverend Jim the stoned guy from Taxi to play my villain Klingon to fight Bill in the movie"?
That's actually an interesting question to think about, because at that time you probably wouldn't, on the face value. You sort of have to like take a chance on that, unless you happen to have seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
And that is a drama.
So like with that situation, you can't just say, "Oh, well, he's the guy from Taxi." It's like, oh, well, nah.
And it could have been typecasting.
It could really be like, oh, he played this other character, and like he could probably jump from that to this. Let's get him in for this.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'd probably say I wouldn't have if I only knew Taxi.
Right.
But if I saw One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, then yeah, I'd probably be like, oh, he's versatile. Of course he can do this.
Exactly. Yeah. No. And I agree with that completely. And I really wish with the Star Trek movies they had a different villain every single film, and so Christopher Lloyd's character gets blown up and or captured or something like that, and we don't ever see him again. Or no, I'm sorry, Kirk kicks him into the dying planet. That's what it is. It's been a while since I've seen this film.
Genesis! I want it! Beam the Vulcan up, and we'll talk. Give me what I want, and I'll consider it. You fool, look around you! The planet's destroying itself! Yes, exhilarating, isn't it? If we don't help each other, we'll die here! Perfect! Then that's the way it shall be! Give me Genesis! Give me your hand! I have had enough of you!
But no, so we don't ever see him again. But it's fun to see him fighting William Shatner on this exploding planet, and it's fun to see him just do all the Klingon stuff, and it's a really good performance. So if you're a Star Trek fan, watch it. If you're even not a Star Trek fan, give it a watch, because it is still a good Star Trek film, and it's Christopher Lloyd as a Klingon. Need I say more?
My lord, the ship appears to be deserted.
How can that be? They're hiding.
Yes, sir. But the bridge seems to be run by computer. It is the only thing speaking.
Speaking? Let me hear.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Get out!
3,
Get out of there! Get out!
1.
Fun fact, though, he is not the only celebrity on that Klingon bridge. John Larroquette was a Klingon as well, from Night Court and from Boston Legal, all that stuff. So, yeah, if you so watch Star Trek 3 for sure. So this was 1984 when Star Trek 3 came out. The very next year, though, is a very popular year, especially when it comes to Christopher Lloyd. And it's a year that you have to say in his voice. That year is 1985! And it's the reason you say that is because he starred alongside some guy from Family Ties by the name of Michael J. Fox in a trilogy of films called
Rick and Morty.
That's it.
No.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. So
I could not make
you
that
had
joke.
to make
I'm
that joke.
sorry.
Absolutely. So yes, like I said before, Reverend Jim is parodied a lot, especially from the Okie Doke. But probably Lloyd's most popular performance and most parodied performance is as Dr. Emmett L. Brown in the Back to the Future trilogy. So we're seeing some clips here from all 3 Back to the Future films, which he starred in as Doc Brown. And
which also starred Crispin Glover.
Leah Thompson, and Tom Wilson. Yeah, Leah Thompson. Not complaining. Anyway, so I don't even know why I'm asking this. You have seen Back to the Future, both of you, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I had the trilogy on DVD.
Same here. What are our thoughts on Back to the Future films and Christopher Lloyd as Dr. Emmett L. Brown? Zach, we'll start with you. As we watch the trailer, sir.
It's just an unforgettable experience watching those films. It was really innovative for the time. You had your typical sci-fi,
yep.
You know, like Star Trek, and you had Star Wars. And all those were like very big and popular, very fantastical, but nothing like having this hyper future, like we're time traveling into the future and we're, you know, in a DeLorean.
Yeah.
In a car that was very unpopular at the time.
Extremely, yeah.
That then skyrocketed in fame thanks to these movies.
Yeah.
There were other reasons, but I don't think we can talk about them here.
We'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
But like,
don't even touch that.
But what do you think of Christopher Lloyd's performance? Again, it kind of comes back to his Klingon. Would you have picked him for a role like this, Justice?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think we brought it up at one point. You definitely got to have range.
Yeah.
And just listening to him talk, he definitely sounds like that kind of 1950s Mad Doctor character.
Yeah, a little bit.
That I'm pretty sure was what inspired Back to the Future, which... Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
And, I mean, do you think that... now, the story centers around Marty's life, for the most part, Michael J. Fox's character. But do you think Christopher Lloyd, who the show is about, do you think he steals the show as much as Fox does?
I think they share the screen equally.
Yeah, they definitely share the screen.
Yeah, because, I mean, let's be honest here. They're a dynamic duo no matter what.
Yeah.
Because you can't have Marty McFly without Doc Brown, and you can't have Doc Brown without Marty McFly.
So it's like you can't have Lloyd without Fox.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They intertwine.
Yeah, once you had the first movie, it was just like, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I always say, like, oh, it's Doc Brown whenever I see him, and I have to make, like, Back to the Future references, but I know with, like, I would watch stuff with my parents to be like, no, that's Reverend Jim. And it's like, who's Reverend Jim? But it's like, now that I watch Taxi and stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, this guy.
Or even more obscure, that one time he showed up in the show Fringe.
Oh yeah, yep. And Lloyd will still do Back to the Future stuff. I mean, he will do stuff with Michael J. Fox. He's done commercials and promos. So you got to think to yourself, he's been playing the same crazy scientist since 1985, pretty much. Now, of course, everyone puts the word paycheck in front of these questions, but do you think he really does enjoy the role of Doc Brown?
100%.
Yeah.
Like some characters, actors just get attached to, and they can't help but, continue to play those characters, even if they're like little spin-offs and whatnot, just because they enjoyed it, they had a big impact, and they know people would love it, and they like seeing people happy.
Plus, it looks like a fun role to play. I mean,
hands down.
He's all over the place as the character. I mean,
exactly.
That's got to be fun.
We better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
But I'm back. I'm back from the future.
Great Scott! Jennifer could conceivably encounter her future self. The consequences of that could be disastrous.
Doc, what do you mean?
I foresee two possibilities. One, coming face to face with herself 30 years older would put her into shock and she'd simply pass out. Or two, the encounter could create a time paradox, the results of which could cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe. Granted, that's a worst-case scenario. The destruction might, in fact, be very localized, limited to merely our own galaxy.
Marty, you're gonna have to do something about those clothes. You walk around town dressed like that, you're liable to get shot. Or hanged.
What idiot dressed you in that outfit?
You did.
But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style? Right on the tick. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Too bad the post office isn't as efficient as the weather service.
Who's president of the United States in 1985? Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan? The actor?
Then who's vice president? Jerry Lewis? Nice shot, Doc! You're not gonna believe this! We gotta go back to 1955!
I don't believe it!
Doc, she didn't even look at him.
This is more serious than I thought. Apparently your mother is amorously infatuated with you instead of your father.
Whoa, wait a minute. Doc, are you trying to tell me that my mother has got the hots for me?
Precisely.
Whoa, this is heavy.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Range! Is this a hold-up? It's a science experiment!
Hey, Doc! Where are you going now? Back to the future?
Nope. Already been there.
For sure.
Especially if he did actually do theater, that's got to be pitch perfect for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll go deeper into Back to the Future, of course, on this show as well. That's the thing about these actor spotlights. You know, we touch on points in their career, but we're going to go deeper into all of them, or most of them anyway, when the time comes. So we'll go deeper into Back to the Future and talk about that. But if you haven't seen it, do watch all three of them. Yes, all three of them. They're all worth it. You know, yes, that first one is always there, but the other two are good too. So give them a watch, and you'll be enjoying them too.
Oh, ZZ Top's actually in the third one. I just remembered.
Yeah, ZZ Top.
Right, yeah.
Huey Lewis, ZZ Top, good music all the way.
Oh yeah.
Great Scott.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Got to shoehorn that in there. So here's a weird thing. So Lloyd has had a pretty good career so far. You know, he's done other stuff in between all of these as well. But one of the weirdest things is, you know, sometimes when you have an ensemble cast for a film, it doesn't really get that good a review sometimes. Or it's well known, but also put as a low cult classic. That's the case for when he starred in Clue. So Clue,
with Tim Curry?
With Tim Curry, yes. So Clue, the board game, famously got turned into a film with an ensemble with multiple endings with an ensemble cast. Those included Leslie Ann Warren, yes, Mr. Tim Curry, and yes,
there he is,
our good old friend Christopher Lloyd, among others, of course. So now I saw this movie a long time ago. What do we think? First of all, Justice, do we think that Clue is a good movie, a worthy, rememberable movie? And what do we think about casting Christopher Lloyd in the film?
I've actually never seen Clue.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely give it a watch because it seems like it would be, well, not like great. I feel like it could at the very least be, I can excuse a bad movie if it's at least fun to watch. Like, if you can have fun watching it.
I get that. Yeah. I get that. And Zach, I mean, you know, these are all characters from the board game, and Christopher Lloyd played one of them.
Professor, did he play Colonel Mustard or Professor Plum?
I think it might have been the professor, or the professor-esque character.
It's not just a game anymore.
It's so weird.
Oh, my.
So Zach, what do we
awful.
think about? I mean, he's come a long way since playing Reverend Jim. Thoughts on Clue and Christopher Lloyd in this movie?
And coming off of Back to the Future, or I think I'm not sure.
Yep, this came after Back to the Future.
Which one?
Clue did.
No, which Back to the Future?
Oh, I think we're in the middle between 2 and 3 at this point.
Okay. So coming after the sequel.
Yep.
And then going right into this very like silly, sort of fun, murder mystery.
Yep.
Clue, like. You just got to think, like, what else could he be? Just, what's the word? What else could he just have in his bag of tricks?
Yeah.
Like he can play all these really fun characters that are seemingly completely different from each other.
What else can he add to his belt?
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of something like, you look at Mars Attacks, which was another big ensemble film, but was a bit of a bomb, too.
Yeah.
And it's become kind of a cult classic. So Clue, I think, is kind of in the same line as that, because you had all these stars from at the time, and Christopher Lloyd. I don't know if this might have been one of the movies where he said, "I need a paycheck." It could have been, but
it was that. It was a wonderful ensemble. It had such wonderful cast put together for that. Everybody was so well cast, and they had a good script. I remember we got together maybe 3 weeks before it shot, before the cameras, just rehearsing, and so it was very well prepared. It was kind of one of my earlier films. I was honored to be working with a cast that was gathered, and so many people have come up today, yesterday, to have pictures signed and remark about how much they love Clue. So it's great that it's, sustained.
Because he doesn't really do his screaming or his shtick, really,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that. He's kind of like just in the side, and he just does Christopher Lloyd on the side. Tim Curry, I think, might be a show stealer in this one, but
Definitely.
I mean, it's Tim Curry.
it's Tim Curry.
Definitely
Thank
the
you,
lead.
Tim Curry.
Yeah.
What pictures they are if you're such a lady.
What sort of pictures are they?
They are my pictures, and I'd like them back, please.
No, I'm afraid there's something in them that concerns me, too.
Let me see.
Oh, no. Nobody can get into that position.
Sure they can. Let me show you.
Get off me.
Mr. Murray! He's attacking her!
No. No, he's dead.
Mr. Bodie, dead. Again.
Oh, my God.
She's going to faint. Somebody catch her! I'll catch you. Fall into my arms. Sorry.
You've got blood on your hands.
I didn't do it! He's got new injuries. Well, he's certainly dead now. Why would anyone want to kill him twice?
Seems so unnecessary.
Well, that's what we call overkill.
What we call a psychotic.
Unless he wasn't dead before.
What's the difference?
That's what we're trying to find out! We're trying to find out who killed him, and where, and with what.
There's no need to shout.
I'm not shouting! All right, I am. I'm shouting, I'm shouting, I'm shouting!
So yeah, no. If you have never seen Clue, check out Clue. It might surprise you, and you can see Christopher Lloyd kind of take a more subtle route in a film, which is kind of fun. So check out Clue, which might be interesting but weird.
Maybe that's actually what he wanted to do as well. He wanted to try a subtle role.
That might be it.
Because he's really known for being kind of extravagant. and
Yeah.
being all these crazy characters.
That's a good theory. Yeah, that's good.
I don't know. It's worth a thought.
I like that.
We ought to call him.
I called him and he didn't show up.
Did you? How many messages did you leave?
17.
Why didn't you go?
That might.
Well, I said we're honoring you on my talk show, and he's like, He didn't even answer. It's just
20 is the magic number.
I know. But anyway, let's move on to another one. 1988 comes around, so we're still in between Back to the Future 1 and 2 now. And we come to a film which I say is a milestone. Some people disagree with me, but it's a milestone. And he's playing a villain again. And boy, does he do a good job. Because he's involved with the murder of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yes, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Christopher Lloyd was in this movie. There he is. He played Judge Doom. And again, unrecognizable in that outfit. I mean, he's pale and he's in this big dark outfit and he's got sunglasses on, but you still hear that voice and you say to yourself,
What's that jawline?
The jawline, yeah.
When he's smiling and you see all those teeth and you're like, there he is.
There he is. Of course, if you haven't seen this movie, we're going to break something here real quick. Christopher Lloyd ends up being...
Spoilers!
Spoilers. Big spoilers. Christopher Lloyd ends up being a cartoon in the end. He's a cartoon in human skin. Now, as far as I know, he's still doing that really high-pitched voice at the end.
Remember me, Eddie? When I kill your brother, I talk. Just wait.
My gosh. This guy, he must have had a great time in this role. Zach, I mean, Roger Rabbit. It is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
We actually did a viewing of it last summer.
Yes, we did.
We did.
Yeah. Imagine if that wasn't editing. That was just real. That he just can really pitch his voice up that high naturally.
I'd be really impressed with that.
I'd be scared.
But I mean, this is different from like when he played the Klingon, but he's still playing a villain. What do we think about Christopher Lloyd playing a villain who in a movie with cartoons?
Perfect. It's perfect for Lloyd, I think. Just his demeanor, his nature to have a very extravagant role now is sort of drawn back to being like this more like sort of dark, like very mysterious character.
Yeah.
But still in a movie that is very extravagant, very outlandish, very fun.
He's not literally a cartoon character.
So I think he really enjoyed that.
And Justice, I mean, he put dedication into this role. The fact that I keep finding is that he didn't blink to make himself even more like, I'm a cartoon. What do you think about dedication for that, for Christopher Lloyd to do that?
Well, I mean, all actors do different things to get them more into the role, the role they want to play. To be honest, I mean, Hannibal Lecter as well.
Yeah.
With
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, Anthony. I blanked on his name for some reason. Kind of did the same thing. There isn't really a lot of times that he blinks. They obviously did it for different reasons.
Sure.
But yeah, I could definitely see him playing this role.
Yeah, no.
And causing nightmares for children.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what Christopher Lloyd did for sure. Yeah.
He's a scary man.
Is this man removing evidence from the scene of a crime?
No, Judge Doom. Valiant here was just picking it up for you. Weren't you, Eddie? Hand it over.
Sure. His #1 seller.
I see working for a tune has rubbed off on you.
I wasn't working for a tune. I was working for R.K. Maroon.
Yes, we talked to Mr. Maroon. He told us the rabbit became quite agitated when you showed him the pictures. The rabbit said one way or another, he and his wife are going to be happy. Is that true?
Hey, pal, do I look like a stenographer?
Shut your yap, Eddie. The man's in charge. That's all right, Lieutenant. From the smell of him, I'd say it was the booze talking.
How did that gargoyle get to be a judge?
Spread a bunch of simoleons around Toontown a couple years back. Bought the election.
What's that?
Remember how we always thought there wasn't a way to kill a tune? Well, Doom found a way. Turpentine, acetone, benzene. He calls it the dip. I'll catch the rabbit, Mr. Valiant. Then I'll try him, convict him, and execute him.
That's one bad joke, hey, boss?
They're not kid gloves, Mr. Valiant.
Hey, Judge, what should we do with a wallflower?
We'll see to him later.
I think you want a drink. How about it, Judge? Huh?
Well, why not? I don't mind prolonging the execution.
A betrayal.
No, thanks, Teddy. I'm trying to cut down.
Drink the drink.
But I don't want the drink.
He doesn't want the drink.
He does.
I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
Listen, when I say I do, that means I do.
With knives as eyes.
Not actually. He's a great person, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I really think he is. I agree with that. I mean, it always comes down to the fact, like, you know, when you watch villains in anything, TV series, movies, they're always the nice guys.
Yeah. Nice guys in real life, terrible, horrifying monsters like Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Probably really nice guy.
Exactly.
Pennywise.
But no, I think Christopher Lloyd did.
Oh, yeah, Tim Curry.
Yeah, Tim Curry. I think Christopher Lloyd did a really, really good job in Roger Rabbit. I mean, you know, you're balancing out silly with Roger and Detective Valiant, and then you have Judge Doom. That was his name, and it's like completely evil, psychotic, and I think he's having a ball with it. So
I feel like that kind of would also give it away because there's no way a real person is named Doom.
Yeah,
That's
that would also
too on the nose.
That would also give it away. But yeah, if you haven't seen Roger Rabbit, do yourself a favor, watch Roger Rabbit.
Unless you've already seen this and it got spoiled for you. Then
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
sorry.
Yeah, we're going to talk
The
about.
movie came out like 30 years ago.
It is, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about live-action cartoon hybrids as well, so that'll be involved in that too. So watch Roger Rabbit, and Lloyd does another great villainy performance. So let's move on to now. We're now flowing into the 90s. We had a lot of success in the 80s, but now we're flowing into the 90s. And again, Christopher Lloyd being cast in something that I never would cast him in, but does a really good job. That being in one of the few times I call cinema gold, 1991 and 1993, the Addams Family movies.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Lloyd plays Uncle Fester. I never would have cast this man as this role. I watched the TV show from the 60s a long time, and Jackie Coogan, who played Fester, never sounds completely different than our Christopher Lloyd. But you see him throughout this trailer here, for the first film anyway. First of all, like I said, one of the few times I call it cinema gold. I love these movies. Everyone was cast perfectly, including Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester. So, Zach, we'll start with you. Do you agree with me that these films are that good? There's Chris right there. And do you think that Lloyd put in a good performance as Uncle Fester?
Yes and yes. The Addams Family is an unforgettable sort of play on sort of society's cultural norms and sort of like here's the opposite, but they're still a very nice, happy family.
For sure.
And it's a lot of fun. It's comedic. It's just all around great. And having Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester, at first you might not be able to tell, like sort of see how he could pull it off, but he did.
And you know, he's a tall guy, and I mean, the magic of movies, I guess, made him look shorter.
Probably on his knees, crawling around.
Not even that, I don't think, but something like that.
Was he as tall as the guy who played the butler?
No.
Yeah, that guy is huge.
He's a big guy, yeah.
He actually played the giant in Twin Peaks as well.
And he was in Star Trek as well.
And also in the Gerald's Game movie. He played the Moonlight Man.
Yeah, no, I don't know how they did it to make him look smaller and wider too. But Justice, I mean, when you hear that voice, you still know it's Christopher Lloyd. You still know that, but he puts a twist on it to make him sound more, I don't know, dead or something like that. What do we think about his performance in those movies?
What did they make? What did he make himself more raspy?
A little bit, yeah.
He made him sound like this, you know.
Well,
did you sleep well?
Like the dead. Really? Who would have thought the Bermuda Triangle could change a man so much? You used to toss and turn all night. We had to chain you to the bedpost.
Doesn't make sense.
The Bermuda Triangle is a very strange and mysterious place. You'd be surprised at all the things you don't know.
She certainly would. Wednesday adores the Bermuda Triangle. She studies it. Death at sea. She's hooked.
Ask me anything.
Being in my old room sure brings back memories. Remember Camp Custer?
For preteen offenders.
Aren't memories precious?
Well, personally, I've only seen like clips and bits from different movies. Like the only full one I've seen is Addams Family Values.
Okay, that's a sequel, yeah.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot more that I need to see, but I definitely feel like he does a pretty good job in that.
Yeah.
Fester. It's definitely the more recognizable, especially.
Yes.
From like the 80s.
I mean,
90s.
90s, yeah. This is 90s, but you gotta. It's like. Again, we keep coming back to his Klingon. He's under all that makeup. You never would know it's him, except for like the eyes and the smile.
Yeah. Eyes and the smile.
Eyes and the smile.
Good.
Fester Adams, do hereby declare my unending love. I will worship you forever. I will devote my every waking moment to your happiness alone. Henceforth, I am your eternal and helpless slave.
Nice. Ditto.
You're going to have a wonderful life together.
Yes, I am.
Come, darling, let's see who's the next happy bride.
Come on!
Now you have to get married.
It's not binding.
Tramp. Once you got a face that's recognizable, you can't really unsee it.
Yeah. Actually, Judge Doom and Fester are kind of like, they could be twins because Fester's short and wide but has the pale face. So did Judge Doom, had the pale face and the black outfit. So
now that is a movie that I think I would like to see.
I'd love to see that. Well, I'm gonna confirm it right now. Come October, it's gonna be an Addams Family show because there are so many iterations that we can talk about.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna come back to the Addams Family films from the '90s.
Let alone the comics from like the New Yorker?
The New Yorker, yeah. Yeah, from comics to now, we'll talk Addams Family. So we'll come back to these movies. But yeah, Christopher Lloyd, I never would have cast him as Fester, but he does such a good job. And also, never seen him ever do a music video. He was in the MC Hammer music video dressed as Fester for Addams Family.
No way!
I'm serious.
I have to see this.
Okay,
I need to see this too. Oh my god!
I'm serious. It's so good.
I am intrigued.
Well, we're not going to show it now.
Oh, come on.
But we'll show it now.
I needed to ball a little bit of pepper.
The next thing you know, coming in me was a hand with the fingers I stepped in. Now I tried to play it on off and act like I'm having a ball. But what do I see? A perm with feet, standing about 3 feet tall. They do what they wanna do, say what they wanna say, live how they wanna live, play how they wanna play, dance how they wanna dance, stick and they stop a bread.
Yeah. So so now let's move on. Let's move on.
Wow.
Now. Wow. I know.
Okay.
Don't ask. Don't ask.
And I thought Freddy Krueger in a rap music video was weird.
Word.
No.
So let's go on to something. Oh man. Oh, we're losing it now.
Oh man.
We're losing it now.
We're stealing the
Down.
show. All right.
It's gone.
Go.
Go. Moving on.
Let's move on. Go.
So one of the first times that I was introduced to Christopher Lloyd, without even knowing it, was when I was like anywhere from 6 to 12 to now. Because, you know, if it ever comes, I ever come across it, I'm like, I'm nostalgic for this. So, believe it or not, I'm going to surprise everybody's childhood that's around my age, your guys' age, all of our ages. I'm going to break your childhood right now. I'm going to blow its mind.
All right.
Christopher Lloyd, again playing a villain, as a voice now in the hit PBS Kids show Cyber Chase.
Right.
Cyber Chase, yes!
I haven't had to think about this show.
There he is.
There he is. Christopher Lloyd was the Haka.
Also, Gilbert Gottfried's in this as
Gilbert
well.
Gottfried was Digit. Here's the thing. Christopher Lloyd has had a steady career. He's had TV shows. He has had films. He is still getting a steady paycheck from this show. Cyber Chase is still on the air. So, and he is still playing the hacker. Gotta give him credit for that.
So it's still running.
It's still running.
That I did not know.
I figured maybe reruns.
Yeah.
Still running to this day.
That does not seem like the kind of show that would last past like 2008 or 9, but
you'd be surprised. I was surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
If you don't know what we're talking about, what we're nostalgic about, Cyber Chase was a show on PBS Kids which featured 3 human kids getting sucked into the cyber world.
The internet, basically.
The internet, basically, yeah. And the show was a show about math because they had to solve problems using different types of math. Which is funny because I am not a math person. Now, of course, the wonderful Danica McKellar has converted me to math, but counter reference to Danica, so that's a Wonder Years counter reference.
You and your girlfriend.
Here's the thing. I was not a math person. Oh, we've lost Justice. Here's the thing. I was not a math person. So, and yet I loved this show. Now, you said you hadn't had to think about this for a long time, Zach.
Yeah.
Beyond the math aspect of the show, do you think people like Gottfried, but also Christopher Lloyd, added to the appeal of the show?
Had to. Like, there's such distinct voices that you just kind of gravitate towards. And I'll be honest, I started for the premise, but stayed for the math.
Okay.
I'm a nerd. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I mean, the glasses alone.
Yeah, so are you.
Yeah, except here's the difference.
He doesn't have
you
glasses, and he's a Trekkie.
Here's the difference between you and me, though. I wear them with style.
We're gonna have a talk.
I think we need to bring in our referee.
Yeah. We're gonna have a slap fight. That's what's gonna happen.
I think we need to bring in Val, our referee.
Now you look good with your glasses. Don't worry.
No, it's been quelled. You don't need to bring in Val.
No Val. No Val.
Okay.
Go back.
If you guys are gonna behave,
we're fine.
Okay.
Move on.
Okay, but yeah, no, Justice. I mean, ever since I started preparing for this show, I put that edit in, I gave it here to the station, and I've actually been watching the occasional episode just for nostalgic reasons. And here comes the hacker on screen, and I keep telling myself, okay, here's Christopher Lloyd, he's doing this. And some of the stuff that the character says, I'm saying to myself, oh my God, Lloyd is actually recording this in a studio when he did that.
Uh-oh!
Hey! What tinwit hit this ball?
worse. They're annoying neighbors.
Hacker?
How dare they interrupt me when I'm perfecting my putting? 3 words for you half-baked backups. Get me out of here!
Do you think that he was having as much fun on this show as he has on other projects, or do you think like, oh my god, I'm doing a kids show?
Well, if he's still doing it for this long, then there's got to be at least something. Like maybe it's part paycheck, but also like, you know what, I'm gonna have some fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know,
I want to have some fun with.
Yeah,
I made him borderline Romanian.
I was gonna say, yeah, but it's like, I am the hacker. And so,
and it's for the kids.
You dunce buckets. No, it's like, it just goes on and on and on, and it's just like, oh my god, he's actually doing this.
Christopher Lloyd as Dracula. Has that happened yet?
No, but I'd be okay with that.
It needs to happen.
I'd be fine with
I'd
that.
be okay with
That'd
that.
be wonderful.
It doesn't matter how old you are. If you want to see something that you may not have known Christopher Lloyd did, watch Cyber Chase. It is really fun, and just to see Christopher Lloyd voice this computer, green-skinned, pointy-chinned villain who does crazy stuff
with a cape.
You're gonna have a great time with it. So yeah, do watch some Cyber Chase, just for either fun, math, or nostalgia. Doesn't matter.
Cool math games.
Cool math. Math, man.
Oh, come on, that's stupid.
Funny that you bring up Dracula, though. So we've come to the last highlight that we're going to talk about in Lloyd's career. Now, again, he's done other stuff throughout the career. These have just been highlights. Like we did with Shatner, he did other stuff, but we talk about specific things. So this was his most recent project that I know of. Came out last year. And if you think that, like, Star Trek 3 was weird, Clue was weird, Cyber Chase, anything, Cuckoo's Nest, I don't care.
Are you going to say what I think you're going to say?
Maybe. I don't know how big the role is, but he is in this movie. I kid you not when I'm about to say this title. Last year, Christopher Lloyd starred in Spirit Halloween, the movie.
Huh? What?
I know, right? Who else? There's a picture of him. Who else is confused? I am.
In an actual Spirit Halloween.
Yes, it is. We're about to get a glimpse of him in just a second here. 3, 2, 1. There he is.
Yeah.
There's Chris. Okay, so let's deduce what's going on here. If you don't know anything about this movie is simple premise. These 3 kids who are Stranger Things wannabes, practically, decide to take a bet and stay, I think it is Halloween night, in a Spirit Halloween store. And crazy things happen in the store, and, you know, ooh, scary! And yeah. So, this is one of those instances, your confused looks as we watch the trailer, oh my gosh. This is one of those instances where I say Lloyd must have needed a paycheck, because you have another star here. She's black, and I forget what show she was on, but it was like way back in the day. So she's a classic star, and then you get Lloyd in this project too, and then you had the young woman there who had done stuff. She was on Psych. She was as a guest star and other stuff as well. But Lloyd is the person we're talking about here on this show. What do we think? Do we think that he actually needed a paycheck, or did he actually say like, "Oh yeah, I'll do this"?
What?
Do you need to see that again, Zach?
I think he needs like some more milk and a nap.
So Zach, let me give you an equation here.
You're okay.
Christopher Lloyd plus Spirit Halloween equals.
I wish I could say good.
It's
not.
It's not.
Why a movie about a retail store? When do we get Walmart the musical?
Next year.
What about Target on Broadway?
No.
2 years.
We need one about the lost
Rose on Ice. What's next?
Like the rise and fall of Big Kmart.
There you go.
The rise and fall of Big Kmart.
It's a Romeo and Juliet
Oh
story.
no! Like two managers from rival
Wait,
stores.
I got it. I got
Oh my
it.
god!
The Christopher Lloyd cinematic universe of stores.
Home Depot, the movie.
So he'll be in all of these movies as the same character. Val.
Oh.
Val.
No Val.
No Val. Oh.
Hey.
Okay, moving on.
We're sleeping.
Why are you asleep? I see you.
We're fine.
But anyway, Justice, what do you think about Christopher Lloyd's position in this film? I mean, he's done. I don't know if he's done any creepy horror things, but
Unless you count Judge Doom, that's
Judge Doom.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's like the closest.
But what do you think? Do you think he was a good fit for this movie?
I have nothing of substance to say on the topic of that.
I think we covered it.
Yeah, there's no more. Honestly, like it's definitely a low budget film. There's no way
it was an indie movie.
Yeah. I think the fact that they got him is lucky. Maybe like he was like, oh yeah, I've got nothing going on. This should be fun.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because there's no way that they could have paid him like a big paycheck for that.
Final notice. Surprised you and your filthy brood are still here.
I told you, I'm not giving you the land.
That's the beauty of it, sweetheart. It's already mine. You have 48 hours to evacuate. Then the bulldozers come in. The great spectacle of progress. You should stick around and watch the fireworks.
It's literally every last like special effect in there is Spirit Halloween decorations and Sony Vegas.
He's a good-natured fella.
You know, it's funny though because I've always said, I like Spirit Halloween, I really do. And going through those like facades that they show up, I've always said two things. A, I would have liked to film a movie in here, so somebody must have read my mind. And B,
They stole your idea.
well, what else is new? And B, what if I were to take some of those facades, open up a studio where it could be like rent a studio. You know, like, here, you need a castle set? There's your castle set. That'll be X amount of money. And that could be a good business. In fact, I think it would be cool business for all of us.
Well, like a rent-a-center?
Sort of like a rent-a-center, but it's a rent-a-studio.
Rent a studio.
Well, they would rent the studio space.
Yeah.
I actually don't see anything wrong with that. That could be a pretty decent like.
I think we should
venture.
go into business with that.
Side money.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Just need a lot of a big warehouse.
Big warehouse, yeah. Well, Spirit Halloween, when it first came out, I said, no. And when I saw Christopher Lloyd in it, I said, no.
There's a lot there.
But I also then said at the end of it, I said, okay. It's stupid, but I kind of want to see this thing. And I have not seen it still yet, but I have every intention of actually hoping to see it because it does look funny, and I'm going to, of course, support Christopher Lloyd.
The same question I had for Clue probably stands with this. As long as it's fun, you can probably look past the crappiness of it.
Yeah. I agree with that. If you haven't seen Spirit Halloween, give it a watch. You might be pleasantly surprised. You might be laughing about how bad it is, but you might be also laughing at okay, I know what they're doing here, so just let it run. And if anything, like I said, just do it to support Lloyd. He is a good actor, and it has been fun to honor him on this show. I mean, I think he is a great guy. He's done so many things, not just the stuff that we've talked about, but he's done so many things, and I hope he will answer me someday, and I hope to have him on the show.
We just show up and Christopher Lloyd's here.
I'd probably cry.
Yeah,
I'd probably be like,
oh! We'd have to hold you back, yeah.
Yeah.
But no. Oh my God! Of course. There's, like I've said before, he's done more stuff that we haven't mentioned. He's done other films. He's had other guest spots. He's done other TV show things. He's all over the place. It's kind of hard to miss him, but unless he's under heavy makeup like we've seen here.
Even then, you can still see. You can guess and then tell.
Yeah. Well, it has been so much fun to talk about him. And Chris, if you're watching, hope you enjoy this tribute to you, and I hope you can be on the show sometime. But let's end the show now with our favorite game, Who Are You? Yeah. All right, good song. So you guys have been on the show before. You know how this goes. I'm going to play a clip for you, and you have to tell me who it is and or what it is from. There's a twist this time, though. It is a double. There are two people, so it's not who are you, it is who are they. So let's roll the clip.
Not too hungry today.
Oh, not really.
Here, have some pie. I made it myself.
Yeah. So how do you like the valley so far?
Well, it hasn't been dull.
Was Newark dull?
How'd you know I was from Newark?
I asked.
Oh, really?
All right, so there is the clip. Zach, we'll go to you first. Who are they, and what are they from? And I gave you some hints as the clip was playing there. You heard the words Newark. The place is Newark, the Valley. It is a boy and a girl, and it is a film.
I have no idea.
No idea. No guesses. No.
I have nothing.
All right, Justice.
I'm probably gonna get torn to pieces for this guess, but honestly, it's been such a long time since I've seen it. Grease? Is it Grease?
Grease? Okay, so you think it's Travolta and Olivia
yeah.
Newton-John?
I will say that John Travolta definitely has, especially in his younger years, he definitely had that kind of high-pitched voice, but at the same time, you could tell it was a guy.
Okay.
Even in, Saturday Night Fever.
Okay, so you're saying Newton-John and Travolta from Grease.
It's a hard guess, but it was either that or Marty McFly Williams.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go with Grease. Let's see what happens. Let's see the answer.
Let's see.
Not too hungry.
I'm sorry.
Really.
It is actually Ralph Macchio and Elizabeth Shue from the original Karate Kid.
Oh, that's right. I actually haven't seen that movie yet.
You've never seen that?
How'd you know I was from Newark?
Really? Okay, we have to fix that.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
really?
lot of that too. Yeah. I haven't
Oh, we
seen
have
the
to fix that
original.
on both of you then.
My first Karate Kid was the redo.
Was the one with Jaden Smith?
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we have to fix that.
That was not a good one.
We have to fix that because I tell you,
I'm good.
I tell you, I just rewatched it. I forgot how good that movie was. I mean, especially with the main character. I say the Karate Kid is my alternate universe, and there's a whole story in itself. But I mean, you have a guy named Daniel, and then you have the beautiful Elizabeth Shue. So I can't complain at all with that.
I heard Cobra Kai was pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that too. So yes.
Might be worth a watch.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, guys, for coming on the show and talking about Christopher Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
I again hope he can join us sometime. If you're watching, I hope you enjoyed it, Chris. And until next time, my name is Daniel Saletti. This has been As the Real Turns.
What's a rap?
All right, now give me my paycheck.
Val!
Why weren't you there to help us with our previous problems?